Welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. I'm delighted this morning because I kind of know these folks a little bit. Stephen and Mildred Ruiz-Sapp, they're the Mellon Foundation playwrights in residence at Long Wharf Theater. They've been here since 2020, and they're going to be bringing us live from the edge. Hey, Louise, how are you?
Hi, Babs. Thanks for having me on, and great to be here with Universe. Has heard so many great things, so thank you.
I'm so glad. All right, so Saps, tell us about the story. Tell us what we're about to hear. Tell us about what it means to be a playwrights in residence, and tell us about this exciting new Live from the Edge production.
Hey, Babs, how you doing?
It's good to see you. I swear I only see you in these spaces in like Zoom land.
Yes. I know.
None of us have any legs, just none of us.
Well, no matter, we're all wearing pajamas. It's okay.
Ooh, it's nice to see y'all.
Yes. Good to see you too.
There's a lot of questions in that one question.
We'll start with universes.
Universes.
Think, yeah.
We got together. We've been together since 1995. The company. We started in the South Bronx, in New York City. We were individual performers and poets, and bouncing around in the poetry scenes in New York, specifically the New York Poets Cafe a lot of times. But we also had our own venue up in the South Bronx called The Point that we started in. And we were just sort of poets in the open mic scene. And we got tired of just, you watch one poet get up and sit down and get up and sit down. So we started to go up in a group to perform and get more time. And so in opposed to just one person standing there doing a poem and the rest of us sort of standing around them, it turned into this poetry musical. So we started singing and dancing and moving and doing monologues and poems, all at poetry readings, and it sort of turned into this.
We were doing like little mini concert things. Yeah.
And so it turned into us beginning to be in the open mic scenes in New York City and literally bouncing around every open mic we could find just to sort of find to our aesthetic. A lot of political rallies that were going on, sort of, from the activist movement. We were a lot of times the entertainment, or just in terms of bringing that artistic voice. And it's molded into this career
then we moved into the theater field and brought kind of the same style. We never really changed anything. We just started doing it in theaters. And that kind of has brought us to here.
Yeah, they caught up to us. But we've toured around the country, and Live from the Edge is an evening where it's like a concert. It's a concert show with us, but we go through our canon of work. So it'll be poetry and music and things of that nature. We'll pick selected things from our canon. And then whatever else is going on, like right now, if we'll address what's going on right now. Like Tyree Nichols just happened, I'm sure, in some form or fashion over the evening, we will address that in some form or fashion. So it's really like just an evening with universes. And it's kind of like, we're kind of like a band that way, where we'll have a set list and we can swap things in and out. And every night it might slightly change depending on the mood.
Depending on the audience.
Yeah. And so we just have fun every night.
And so now, when does your production begin? When does it begin and when does it end? And then, Louise, you're from the library talking about Mardi Gras.
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Okay. I got a full house of all kinds of New Haven activities today.
I want to say that it starts on the 21st, but hold on. Let me be for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
About dates.
Yeah.
So, yes. So you're going to be at the Space Ballroom. I think this is our first production outside of our theater, out of being at Long Wharf Theater proper. That this is the beginning of us moving around and bringing theater in all the spaces that we can in New Haven. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so the show starts actually the 27th. I thought it was the 21st, but April 27th to May 21st is the run of Live from the Edge. And yeah, like Long Wharf is moving in a different direction, right? So this was kind of a perfect conversation. Like we've been with Long Wharf for 3 years now as the Mellon Playwrights in Residence. And it's, it only makes sense for us to, kind of bring our skills out in the community and in different types of venues, as Long Wharf is also starting to move in that same direction for us to be able to do what we do, where we do it, how we do it, in like out and about.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. So I have Louise on from the New Haven Free Public Library because they are doing the annual Mardi Gras fundraiser. And when is that, Louise?
That's going to be Tuesday, this next Tuesday, February 21st, which is 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Ives Main Library. And so we have a lot of wonderful sponsors, including the Long Wharf Theater, by the way, there's some wonderful folks in attendance from Long Wharf. And really just a way to highlight, this is a special celebration. So Mardi Gras has been the annual library friend and fundraiser for about roughly 25 years. And it's very special because it's a way, kind of Fat Tuesday, celebrate getting the community in, and we're inviting the community into the public library spaces. Kind of similar to what Long Wharf and others have been doing. How do we be responsive to the community? It used to take place at the New Haven Lawn Club. And said, well, wait a minute, we need folks to come into our libraries because our libraries are across the city and kind of dealing with the community. So the work that we've done with Long Wharf and other community partners is really about community engagement, showing that we reflect the community. We have a fun community celebration for the New Haven Free Public Library. So this year is extra special because this year, Mardi Gras, February 21st, falls on the exact 136th birthday of the New Haven Free Public Library. And so not only is this a Mardi Gras celebration, this is also a birthday party. And this is something that's, really something that the library staff and the community takes pride in, because people don't realize that the New Haven Free Public Library is a nationally recognized public library system. We won in 2019 the Institute of Museum and Library Services medal, awarded a medal, which is roughly maybe 30 library systems across the country have this medal. And so we're one of those fortunate enough library systems. So this is a great way to get the community involved. We're making it more inclusive than ever. That tickets are starting at $50. We do have some complimentary tickets available, but we're really bringing the price point down because we want to be reflective of our community. We want folks to come and celebrate with us. Tickets are still available, but it'll be a fun time. Excellent food will be there. Drinks served. It's dignitaries will speak, but it's a great way to be in community, and that's really what's exciting. To have folks from Long Wharf Theater, to have folks from Yale School of Art, to have folks from city government, just all across, really a cross section of the community being there and celebrating. So it's a great time to be had. So love to see all the listeners and all of you participating there. So thank you.
So why I have you both on, because when you look at these different activities, you would think that there's no connection, but there's a great deal of connection because you both are rooted in community. And I want people to know that there's a lot of things going on in New Haven and around New Haven that speaks to community in lots of ways. So you have the Mardi Gras event. The Long Wharf Theater is one of the sponsors of the Mardi Gras event. We have the folks who are bringing us universes live from the edge, who are playwrights in residence at Long Wharf Theater. Long Wharf Theater has been doing stuff with the New Haven Public Library, particularly the Stetson branch in Dixwell Avenue. So it's a wonderful symmetry of things that are going on in the city that people should know about, not in isolation, but around the table. We could say, go to Mardi Gras, go to universities, because Live from the Edge is going to be at the Space Ballroom. Have y'all had a chance to look at the space already? Have you been in the space? Have you been practicing in the space? What do you think of the space?
We haven't got a chance to practice and rehearse in the space, but I did come out maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, and visited the space, saw it, checked it out. It's a great intimate club type of environment. And when I say club, it's like a music venue. So for us, because of the way we performed and traveled, and we started out in open mics and we've toured around the country in clubs and performance spaces and colleges and big theaters, but we come from being really intimate. The audience is right there. So that space is perfect for it. Good sound system. We're really excited about being, you can do big theaters and things of that nature, but something like this, very intimate, very up close, community can really kind of be there, touch us. You can really see reaction from audiences, and that excites us.
I like that. So Louise, talk to me about, you talked a lot about community, but what does that mean for the New Haven Free Public Library? Because you have how many branches?
We have 5 branches, 5 library locations. So Ives Main Library, Central Library, and then 4 libraries across the city of New Haven. So for your listeners, please go out and visit. We have the Wilson Branch Library in the Hill. We have the Fairhaven Branch Library in Fairhaven. We have the Mitchell Branch Library in Westville. Then we also, as you mentioned before, the Stetson Branch Library, which is the Dixwell, New Hallville area on Dixwell Avenue, and the new Dixwell Community House. So when we talk about community, this is something we talked about, like theater, and we talked about, first of all, public library system, we are, for everyone. And especially for the city of New Haven, this is your public library. So when you say, the community, it's, anyone that lives in the city. And that's something very important. People don't realize, our public places, having a public place where you can just go in, read a book, use the restroom, attend programs or collaborations along with our theater. We've had tickets available over the years, or museum passes, all these wonderful experiences for free. So not only is it to kind of build on your community, say like in your neighborhood, but it also, we serve as an opportunity to build community from folks who may live in different parts of town. Maybe they don't, for example, our teen center. We have teens from all across the city who take the bus and they go to the downtown library from different times. They may take different buses to other parts of town, but they have the time together, after school. Or we talk about, our community. When I remember I first started New Haven Free Public Library. So for those who don't know, I'm a New Haven native, so I was born and raised in New Haven. And when I was first hired almost 7 years ago, I was the manager of Young Minds and Family Learning. And we would have these, story time programs. And at that time, and still today, huge international community around the Ives Main Library. So we had families from China, we had families from the States, but all across the world coming in a sense of community. So really, it's just not only your community, those who live around you, but how the connections you're able to build because of the public library space. Like the wonderful partnership with Longworth and other stakeholders, where we have folks who don't necessarily say, well, theater is not necessarily for us, but they're not familiar with universes. They're not familiar with all the things that Longworth has been doing over the years. And so to kind of build those bridges to say that you are part of something greater than yourself and that there is a place for you. So I think we're in a unique position where we work with a wonderful, array of collaborators across the city to say, well, how do we make our services, accessible? How do we make these responsive? So whether it's, we're going to do a bigger push for Spanish language services. We are collaborating with Yale China Association for Lunar Fest. We are doing some exciting programs now through Black History Month and working with different community partners like the Q House, which is a historic, building supporting the Black community in New Haven. So there are things that we've done that we, obviously there's always growing, need to do more, but this is a great way to kind of show support. So these things can continue to happen because, as our Library Foundation Board President says, these, Michael Moran, that these are human endeavors. They just don't happen, by chance. It's not just a magical force of nature. People decided that this is important. We want to make sure that we have a public library system for our community, not just, for today, but in the future as well. And that this building community is really what matters. And so that's kind of, I hope to kind of address all those aspects of community building and how being responsive to different.
I like it. I like it. So as playwrights in residence, what does that mean? What does that mean? Do you get to be in community and learn about community? Why New Haven? Why Long Wharf Theater? What does it mean to be playwright in residence?
Well, I mean, for us, and I'll start off with, we got caught just when we received the award to be playwrights in residence with Long Wharf, the pandemic hit. So we were not able to even come to New Haven really until now because of COVID. So usually, I mean, we had a playwright group that we were working with called the Playwrights from New Haven. And it is about community. It's about learning community, what's going on in community. Where do artists fit inside of community? And for folks who are aspiring to be artists and things of that nature, You're talking to folks who do it and not have done it, but are doing it now. So to be able to be in communication with folks and community about what it means to be an artist and how do artists and libraries fit into community with everything else that they have going on in the community is essential. So for us as playwrights and residents, we take it very seriously. It's an honor to be selected to interact with the community that way. So we're excited about finally being able to come and bring our art and work and be here in community. You know, it's beyond just the hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes that you're on stage. It's more to connecting with folks at a show, at a venue, beyond just the hour and a half. So it's the before the show, it's the after show, it's all those things that make community.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So Louise, when you start talking about how important it is to raise money for the library, because you have to keep the doors open, right? Like, even though you're part of some budgetary line item somewhere, you still have to raise money because there are things that you want to do across the library. And I must say, there have been some amazing things that have been happening in libraries across the city during Black History Month, during Women's History Month, a lot of children's activities, theatrical productions, musical productions. How do you juggle all that? How do you make all that go?
Well, first of all, it all happens because of the great staff and their dedication. And that's, really that, passion, that enthusiasm to like make things happen, to be responsive to community needs. And so, we are part of the, the city budget, and so we're part of that process. And of course, cities across the country are dealing with, funding issues. And so we do the best we can. But with the private funding, it's just not one bucket of money alone, right? So it's not just within the city. And so if we talk about a recent example with our Stetson Branch Library, which that was funding from the state, the city, and then private funding to help have this new library. And so that makes these programs and offerings accessible. So even something, simple as, oh, we want to have, a reading program for the kids or something special. Well, we want to have some access to, say, technology, some audio visual, go in, have a screen, to have Zoom meetings, Zoom calls or things. That costs money, right? And I think that's something, if we have, performers, our library board funding that we help us pay, special performers. And mind you, we're providing all this wonderful experiences for free because we are the free public library. That's in the name. So we want to make sure that, the community benefits, but again, it's, the city supports us with kind of like the operational things, but kind of like the extras, or if we want to have a program, if we want to have, say, special layaway books, preloaded tablets that, families can take home with, virtual books on the tablet. You could set the timer if you don't want the kids to be on the screen too much, but just different things of that nature. Special performers. We've had folks come from, across New Haven, so we're supporting local businesses in that way, but also we're fortunate to have folks from across the region come for programs. So a lot of those summer learning programs are, you probably remember if you have the programs with, say, animals, for instance, coming in for like an hour or so for a summer program from across the city. Those, we pay those vendors as well. And most of them are very gracious with us to say, oh, we'll give you a little discount, or you can do a block booking, but it's still, there's no time and money. And so we're very fortunate. And then just to support the facilities in general, right? So for major renovations, the Stetson Branch Library, that new Stetson, that again, that was an endeavor. That was years of campaigning, especially at Mardi Gras, to have this wonderful space, and not just for Stetson, but I know the Q House did a lot of campaigning as well. And so it's just, to make sure that the community has, spaces that reflect their needs, that can meet their needs, and right, and that's really what it comes down to. So I think, the fun, every little bit helps. I mean, even just, a way of thinking about it where, a program that we would provide for free, like little things like, oh, let's buy some extra, supersized Legos for the kids to be able to play with, or we want to have a special performer or an honorarium for some local history, local historic figures to, share their knowledge with us, just to give a little thanks honorarium, just for them to share their knowledge. It's just these little things that make a huge difference. And so supporting the Free Public Library, shameless plug, we help build capacity for everyone else, right? So Long Wharf Theater comes in when they're meeting with different visiting artists, they're using our meeting room space. When our different stakeholders say, for example, the Chan Association just last month, we're doing things across the city, we're having a parade for Lunar Fest, can we have space at the library to have a program? We're working with the Preservation Trust for special programs. We are doing these different community responsiveness. Sometimes we've had, parents or patrons to volunteer reading programs and things of that nature. So, I mean, just a lot of things that happen in the space, and there's a lot, but I think that's going to be part of the charge. And then again, there's a lot of community needs. I mean, it's something that we don't really emphasize enough, but there are members of the community who are dependent upon our public libraries as critical pieces of physical and social infrastructure. So I think we were talking about COVID. So many kids, during COVID, the public schools had to reach out as part of the incentive and said, hey, let's make sure that we have some desks for the kids in their homes because they make sure they have access to tables at home. So coming into a public library, we have access to a table, and access to a computer. Of course, they're having access to books in various different languages, not just English, and then also at different reading levels, and collaborating with colleagues, with the schools, or with other community stakeholders, so we can support the entire family at the same time. And that's where, say, a parent needs job help, or, for example, we're working with volunteer income tax assistants across the city at 3 locations at our Mitchell branch, Ives Main Library, and our Wilson branch. So that can be supportive. So these things that just make it available. You can come in during our hours of operation. These opportunities are available to you, and that's part of our role. So that's really the great staff, but really staff and community support make it possible. So Babz, thanks to you for coming and visiting all the various programs we've had over the years. So that really helps, makes it go, because talking with folks at the state library, just saying how many people came in, that's part of our statistics. How many people check out books? These are things that help us tell the story and continue to get that support.
I love it. Thank you so much. Because I want people to understand how important libraries are in community. And I also want people to understand how important it is to tell our stories. So Stephen and Mildred, when you do Live from the Edge, are you telling these stories through poetry and music? And are you drawing from personal experience? Are you drawing from people around you? Are you looking at today? Are you looking at yesterday? How should we be centered in this performance?
I think it's all of it. Yeah, we are definitely bringing our lives onto the stage, people we've met along the way of this journey. Like, we've traveled all over the place and met so many different kinds of people, heard so many stories, witnessed so many lives, doing different things. And we try to bring all of those textures into the work that we create, So yeah, there's the combination of, there's a little bit of us, a little bit of somebody we met in Homer, Alaska, for crying out loud, or in Morocco or Turkey, or somebody, like our families from the Bronx and the Lower East Side of Manhattan, or, just like people of all walks of life, all religions, all classes. Like, we really like to just bring the whole tapestry of who we are onto the stage. And we like to kind of just talk about how we survive, on the edge, how we all have a different balancing act to play, So we do try to bring all those stories onto the stage, and they're inspired by some folks, and they're inspired by our own real lives, and what we go through in this country in particular.
So will every performance be different, or it's very structured? Like, some nights it might be telling a story about somebody else, or singing some music that you didn't sing the night before or the week before. Like, is it that fluid, or is it a set? How productions are. Like, if you do Jelly's Last Jam, you sing the songs of Jelly's Last Jam. You don't bring new songs every other night. You sing the same songs every night. So talk to me about what that'll look like for you all.
We have a set list. So,
Okay.
we go from A to Z. But inside of that set list, we have moments where we can go this way or that way. Depending on, I guess, a room or what the vibe is, we can swap things in and out. So you may come on Tuesday, or let's say, a Tuesday, and it's this set. And then you may come back on Friday. It's like, let me go back and see them this weekend. And then you may hear 2 new things that you didn't hear in the first set. Mm-hmm. And then may come back on Saturday, and the 2 new things you heard in the new set is not there. And then we put 2 new things in the new set. So it really depends on how we're feeling, what's going on in the room.
what's going on in the world.
So it's like when things are heavy, we can go heavy. When things, or when things are heavy, we can go light. So there's a lot of play inside of it, but it is structured. I mean, we know where we're going over the evening. But I mean, it's a live event.
Yeah, we're not freestyling.
No. But because it's a live event, again, we've had moments where, and I can remember, like we had a whole group of young people who were really kind of into it and clapping and really kind of driving. So we like changed the piece and really like focused on those kids who were really kind of getting into it. And the whole room changed. There was a different energy. Where the next night was somewhat different. We had a different crowd. We had more sort of an older crowd who was into jazz. So we gave them a little bit more of a jazz feel that particular night. We had a hip hop crowd, so we can really go heavy hip hop here or heavy monologue here. Or
we have a more Latino crowd, Latinx crowd, so we'll drop some more Spanish songs, and like depends on who the people are in the room. The good thing is that we have so many things that we already have in our inventory, in the crate. We already have so many records in the crate, right? But we also continue to create. So there might be even times where, like, I know we're going to be together for about a week before we actually begin performances, and we're going to be rehearsing and fine-tuning the pieces that we know and understand, and understanding what our set list and what the possibilities are. But there will also be opportunity for us to create new work. And that's where we really get excited, where it's like, wow, we're gonna have an opportunity to sit together and create new work, and then be able to test it out in front of new ears, and see how they feel about it, how we feel about it, So we walk a little tightrope too. It's like we don't come in there completely safe even for ourselves, like somebody, like one of us might write a poem, and then we all have to figure out how to frame that, how to decorate it, how to underscore it, how to make it make it fit into the rest of the set, make it make sense, or make it feel like it's an old piece, even though it was just written yesterday. So I really love the challenge that we always challenge ourselves to bring something new or to try something extra. And then depending on the conversations with the audience every night, as it evolves, obviously we're evolving as well. And so is our set list, so that's always exciting to do Live from the Edge, because it feels like a different show for us every night, because everybody in that room is different. The conversations are different. And sometimes we'll try things that don't work, and it'll be like, wow, that didn't work tonight. Let's try something else tomorrow with it. Let's fix this. And then hopefully or let's just pull that out completely. Let's do, but it's really just about having a good time together and being in some kind of a conversation.
Oh, I love it. So, Louise, any performances at Mardi Gras? What can I expect if I'm coming to Mardi Gras on next week? What will I see? Will there be a band? Is there music, food? What's happening?
We will have music from the Timmy Maya Experience. So
I know Timmy Maya.
So those of you who don't know, Timmy Maya is a great performer. He's been at Mardi Gras years past, has a diverse repertoire. So we're going to have the Timmy Maya Experience. If you haven't seen him, definitely come to Mardi Gras to get that experience. We're going to have, we call them partners in deliciousness and partners in sweetness that will be participating in Mardi Gras, including a small kitchen, big taste. We're going to have some nice, wonderful desserts from Catalinas, if you're familiar with them, So there's going to be wonderful desserts. We're working with a local partner, Ordinary's, a bar that they will have, making cocktails for us. So it's going to be, a special cocktail for those of you who are from New Haven, who may realize that, we've had a lot of, transition with COVID, but also tragically, we lost our city librarian, John Jessen, passed away to cancer last spring. And so there'll be a very fun and creative way of honoring John at Mardi Gras. I don't want to give too much away, but you have to come and experience it for yourself. And so that is definitely something that to look forward to with Mardi Gras. And I think that's really, it's a great time to be had. It's a 3-hour event. So it's definitely coming in, cocktail hour, getting the experience. There'll be some remarks. And there's don't worry, there'll be definitely time to dance because Timmy Maya is going to be there. So you want to bring your dancing shoes too. And we encourage festive attire because it's Mardi Gras. So there's some folks over the years, I know Babz, you know how it's, and you can dress up, nicely and be fun. So it's just a really great time to, experience and to celebrate in a way to kind of like, be responsible. We're thinking, okay, how do we make sure that we're having music that people can have like a good time? And it's to say, to kind of recenter, you could have a good time, in the public library, and that this is why, the public library is important, the 136th birthday, and to say that, we are being inclusive. The tickets are starting at $50. And, part of like the little behind the scenes things that work that public libraries do that, I didn't realize until I started working in the field. We help cultivate audiences. So we're exposing the community to theater and to literature and all these other kind of humanities. And then we're encouraging the next set of various audiences. So for folks to appreciate, universes and life on the edge and these different things that are happening. So these are all fun experiences that, we're cultivating and building capacity that way as well, right? So it's not just for the present, but for the future. And so I think that's definitely a fun time to be had by all. Timmy Maya's coming, so definitely well worth the time.
Tell people where they can get tickets.
So you can get tickets. Easiest way to do is you go to nhfpl.org, and that is nhfpl.org, our library website. Right on the main page, there is a Mardi Gras tab that you could click, and it will give you all the information. I don't know, is it possible for me to put a link in the chat for you to share with the audience, Babz?
Yes, you can.
All right, to share with the audience, to have that going, because we have it goes to an Eventbrite as well. Our social media, we've been sharing it as well, so folks can use a QR code where they can go in and just on their phone, if they're inspired as well, to do that. And it's a sliding scale, so starting at $50, if you want to give more, you can, but at least that process is there, and folks are, definitely want to visit and they're worried about the price point. We do have some complimentary tickets available, so they can just reach out to me, directly if they're interested. I can put my email in the chat in case folks want to reach out to me. Oh, thank you for sharing.
Thank you,
sharing
Harry.
the screen. There we go.
All right.
Scroll down, tickets start. Timmy Maya experience.
Thank you very much. All right. So Stephen and Mildred, Space Ballroom, 295 Treadwell Street, April 27th through May 21st, 2023. And you can buy tickets directly from the Long Wharf Theater site.
That's right.
Longwharf.org.
Yep, they have
put that one up. There we go.
There goes. Yeah, you got college student ticket prices at $10. And there obviously you got some member ticket prices and some regular ticket prices. There's a lot of options for y'all. So figure out where you slot in there and get your tickets. And we're excited for all of us to just be hanging out because we're gonna have a good time. And we ready to play. We've been like chomping at the bit trying to get over here to New Haven from Oregon. So, we're happy to be here, and we hope you guys will come and hang out with us like every night. Don't just get a ticket one night, get one every night, and just hang out with us and learn the songs with us and, see what new surprises we have in store. But we're looking forward to it and so grateful to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad. So to the folks who are listening to us across our social media sites and on the radio, these are two very amazing events that are going to be happening in New Haven, and they are connected to one another. They're both rooted in community, and I want people to sort of see that there are things happening in this city that they can go to Mardi Gras, and then they could go to Live from the Edge, which is a Long Wharf Theater production. That you can experience theater in your community, that you can party in your community. I want people to sort of understand that and make the connection, so that we don't have to have these isolated kinds of things like the Mardi Gras is over there and Live from the Edge is over there. No, we are all in this city together, and we could go to these things and support these artists, and we can support the library and do all the good things for our city. So I'm so grateful that I got a chance to talk to y'all this morning. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Babz.
So y'all get your tickets. There's tickets out there to be had. Go get them. It's in the chat. It's up on Facebook. And I hope I see y'all in all the good spaces. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Stephen and Mildred. I'll see y'all soon.
Yes. Can't
Thank you,
wait.
Stephen, Mildred. Thank you, Babz. Appreciate it. Thanks, Harry.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Harry. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all be good in these streets.